Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you how to take a plain pot or planter and transform it into a beautiful piece. I'm going to start with this white ceramic pot that I picked up for $1 at an estate sale, and some of these white rocks that I got at Dollar Tree. So there's different ways you can do this. I'm just going to be using Gorilla Glue, a hot glue. You could also use E6000 or even a construction adhesive. If your pot that you're using is not white, I would recommend you spray paint it first, just so any pot that might show through will blend in with the rocks. But you could do this with pretty much any small rock. If you wanted to use rocks that were more brown or more black or something like this. But I really liked these white ones. They have kind of a shimmer to them a little bit. So it's just a matter of gluing them on. It's a little bit like a game of Tetris, just kind of fitting them in. Just glue one piece on at a time. Most of the rocks will have a flat side that will go on. And I'm just going to kind of work in one section of the pot at a time. Just kind of fitting one rock up next to another. And I did find a few of the rocks did fall off, so I had to go back and hot glue them. But once that they stuck on there, I haven't had any problems with them falling off since. But yeah, it's just a process of just gluing one rock on at a time, fitting them in. Definitely something you could do while you binge watch your favorite show or movie, and just keep going. I ended up using a bag and a half, starting with kind of the big and medium size rocks first, and then you'll see later in the video I go back and fill in some spaces with the tiny rocks. I really like the way this looked. There was some of the rocks had a little bit of a silver or gray look to them, which I think looked really cool with the mixture. But yeah, just pretty simple to do. If you're using a glue like E6000 or something, you may have to hold the rocks on a little bit longer. With this Gorilla Glue, hot glue, they stuck pretty fast, so I didn't have to really hold anything on. But you can only put down enough glue for one rock at a time, or the glue cools too much and you'll have to end up re-gluing it on. So the pot I'm using is about 9 inches tall. And again, I said it took about a bag and a half to do. I probably wouldn't do a pot or a planter that's too terribly big, or one, it's going to take a ton of rocks, but it will also get really, really heavy. The pot that I'm using is a really sturdy kind of ceramic pot to begin with, so it already has some weight. But just continue gluing and fitting the pieces together. There's going to be all shapes and sizes. Some are going to be really thick, so they're going to stick off the pot more than others, but it just gives a really cool natural look to it. You could use this same method for covering a pot with moss or even seashells to fit your aesthetic. This is a great way to add a little bit of elegance to your home and elevate something without costing a lot of money, especially if you have most of the materials on hand. Again, the rocks you can pick up at Dollar Tree or something like that, and so it's really an inexpensive project, even if you did have to buy everything. Altogether, it cost me less than $5 to decorate this pot. If you're using hot glue and you get a lot of strings, you can always take them off easily with a hairdryer. The heat of the hairdryer will kind of melt them away, and that's an easy way to get rid of those. Now, once you get to the bottom of the pot, you just want to make sure that you don't have any rocks that stick off the bottom, or your planter or pot is not going to sit level. So you just want to make sure that you keep the rocks as straight as possible against the edge of the pot. So once I had that row done all the way down, I just turned the pot over a little bit and did the next row all the way down until the pot was completely covered. Again, you'll see here I'm going back in between a few of the rocks where there may be a little bit bigger gapes, and gluing in some of the smaller little slivers of rock. So again, now that I have the pot completely done, I'm just going to go back through and check for any bare spots, any larger holes between the rocks, and then find some little bitty sliver pieces of rock and just hot glue those in. I didn't do every single one. I just did the really big ones that were more noticeable. I really love how this turned out. I love the way it looks with my little table vignette with some potted plants. And I think it looks good in a lot of different decorating styles. And just a nice way to elevate an otherwise plain pot for just a little bit of money. I know even in cheaper stores like Walmart and Target and things like that, planters and pots can be pretty pricey when you get into the nicely decorated ones. So again, I really love the way it turned out. I put a nice little potted plant in it. And I hope this inspires you to grab something plain around the house and just elevate it and give it a little bit of style and have